the steel industry. So ISCOR, for instance, it's our one big, large steel production system that's producing all the metal and have it downstream. Similarly with electricity, one big electricity provider and everyone is downstream from us. Right? I mean, living in a country that's got a backbone that they can't turn off because the whole system would go down. And then they've got all this satellite, everything's like on a string, right? And that's failing, that's not working. It hasn't kept up with progress. We're producing electricity solutions for a country of 20 million people when the reality is that we're 60 million people and half of which are underserviced, living in underserviced communities. So that's my...
Yeah, okay, just put my point of view. I started about 12 years ago.
Yes.
And I was one of three on a pilot project to feed into the city.
Yes.
Literally 12 years ago. And they gave us special meters in our houses. We put up a system and we pushed back. They gave us, at the time we had a prepaid meter, so you would be given units at the end of each month or every 3 months.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's progressed since then. You know, we've got the city through the whole process of certification and filling in forms and things, and that's where we are today. You can feed in. Your problem is it's a 12,000 rand meter because the Landerson Gower meter is the only sort of semi-industrial meter you have to go through.
Yeah.
It's 12,000 rand. I did speak to the DA Shadow Energy Minister a couple of nights ago. He was in Rondebosch Day. There's a single phase meter coming out in about September, October.
Right.
It's probably priced at about 2,000 rand. That's what he estimated. So at least that's going to satisfy the single phase house.
Okay.
And a lot cheaper.
You're going to be on our, sorry, our round table, that we're going to have a round table session. We're all going to break open into a roundness and have this opportunity to interact.
To hear those things. Because I just want to get back to your wheeling problem.
So you're giving the feedback.
You want to do wheeling over. You have a grid at the moment, and
yes.
this will devolve to a grid.
Yes.
The wires connecting. You've got a 30 kilowatt unit. You're only going to use 5 yourself.
Yes.
It's got to wheel it through the grid.
Right.
So until that sort of structure gets put in place, you're not going to be able to do it. I generate, for instance, I generate at home more than I need. So I fill up my battery, and that's where I use feed in, because you have to set your system up for the worst case scenario. And that, on most days, it's not that. It's the rainy days and the night times that you're catering for. So you want to feed back, otherwise you're going to throw the electricity away. And this is the problem at the moment. People are putting up big fancy systems, they're not feeding in, and so they're wasting energy. Because the sun panels are shut down once the battery's full and everyone loses. It should be going to the city. The city give you R1 a kilowatt hour for feed in, and they charge in your immediate neighbors 3 rand. So on every unit I give in, they make 2 rand. They should give you the feed-in meter for nothing.
I'm hoping that people are going to stay with us during the course of the day, and we hopefully going to address all these issues.
Okay.
And I would like to start opportunity to pose a question, because I don't want to rock the boat too much, right?
Yeah.
But I feel that there's something that's been lost, and that is the ICT revolution. Is not part of this picture. It's this very old school kind of like 20th century thinking that you've got to have infrastructure, and that the only way to feed in units is to feed it into the city tariff mechanism, and everyone else is restricted by a piece of legislation that says you can't make money off electricity.
It's the grid sine wave. You
right.
can't.
No, hang on. So I'm not talking about the physical manifestation of voltage and amps. What I'm talking about is the information revolution which would exist in parallel to that system, where, for me, I'm not persuaded that the bulk sale of electricity via the metro is the only solution to our problem. Why is it not possible? And this is a solution which 10 years ago I attended a seminar by David Lipschitz, who's now an energy expert, ETV expert, right? And he proposed a virtual power station. And he said, why can't we have a virtualized tariff system? If you abstract the tariff structure, you could have any number of other independent operators providing you with services. The same, it's been done with the networks and the cellular networks, where it's the people who created those networks to begin with, right, owned the networks, but then there were abstractions of the network that were allowed other operators to enter the terrain of a free market, right? Like Bluetel, Virgin, for instance, at one point was operating as a virtual telco. There's nothing physically that impedes the progress of a virtualized, abstracted tariff system. The only thing which is preventing that from happening is this 19th century view of a pyramid scheme, right? I don't know how that evolved. It came from the mining industry, and then it came, the guys who were the private capitalists got involved. They thought, let's just get together and run the country as one big company. It became like the Republic of South Africa under Volkskapitalism of the National Party. And that system essentially was inherited by the ruling party, and they haven't changed it because it works for certain people. It works for certain banking magnates, it works for those recently empowered mining magnates, it works for people, politicians in Pretoria, but it doesn't work for me or you. Because if you look at the price, and there are hundreds of presentations that you can go into cost of volts and watts and amps, amp hours in South Africa. And if you look at the data, what you see, it's almost like an exponential curve that goes up. It's this, every year, 18% increase is, I'm drowning in a system that is milking the consumer, that is not consumer friendly, that we have removed consumer choice out of the equation and replaced it with government largesse. We need to bring back consumer choice, sir. Yes, sir.
Charles Cruiser. Sorry, I was a bit late.
Okay.
You
forgive me.
But I think I understand why there's this unease about this, because you're talking microgrid. And I'm an engineer, so I think, so where's the physical microgrid? Are we saying that what you're saying, by using IT solutions, you use the in-place grid?
Yes.
You utilize that physical resource that exists,
yes,
but then you actually integrate with it with a system that runs sort of semi-independent, but through that infrastructure.
Yes. So to summarize, it's a modest proposal, and one of the proposals on the table, aside from let's become a cooperative. So we first fix the problem of the rental tenants and homeowners who can't afford PVs and don't have battery storage. Just fix that problem, right? By creating a pipeline where we're reducing low-cost components, modules for our community. Then what we do is we create an internet-networked system where there's nothing, and this is, we don't have to legislate. There's nothing that needs to be changed in our law because we are all free agents, right? We're all citizens, we all have rights, and there's nothing stopping you from contracting. For instance, yes, I can get my feed-in tariff and I get my coins from the city and I'm doing it alone. Why can't I do that with others? Can I not give some of that input, feedback to a poorer community? Is in no way of creating cross-cutting, interconnected intersectional solutions. Are we so incapacitated by that act that says you shouldn't be wheeling electricity and you shouldn't be dealing with electricity? Is that what the political platform would entail, that we would essentially have to become a political movement to change the red tape, to get rid of the red tape, right? Is it such a challenge? And is it such a hurdle?
I do see a difference between the grid and a set of cell phone towers. You can send RF from towers however you want to.
Yes.
The grid has to be synchronized,
Yes.
and it has to be all connecting.
Yes, I'm talking about the billing systems.
So, no, sure, but the billing, they are working on the wheeling aspect of that. That you can sell, you can provide energy,
Yeah.
you'll be paid by the customers you are support. You're just using the Eskom wire to get it to your customer. The billing will be separated, and there's no problem with that. So the other issue I've got with building your own inverter battery unit, it's, in Cape Town, let's say 12 years ago, I bought my panels from PV Assembler next to Hillstar.
Yeah.
It was made in Cape Town, these panels. Photovoltaics, 80 watts each.
Right.
I've got 26 of them.
Yes.
They were beautifully made, no problem.
Yeah.
25 rand a watt. The Chinese came in wacko.
Right.
The whole place cut down. We lost so many jobs
Yes.
of the Cape Flats people that's what happens. So as soon as you compete,
Yeah.
you've got to compete against China. And that is very, very difficult to do.
So I can just to I acknowledge how you frame that question. And we do have opportunities in Asia and China. There are premium solutions where we could, from OEMs, where we could brand our above the line solutions, get them coming through us, and be competing with macro, right? That's a no-brainer. The challenge is to lower the cost to entry. And here's the challenge, because I want to challenge people. I want people to feel challenged by today, right? I want to feel that we moving forward in some way out of this ETV like censored boxlet, right? Here's the challenge. So, do I understand you correctly, sir? You are telling me that I, as a citizen, as a resident or a homeowner, I'm expected to lay out quite a large sum of capital to buy technology so that the city can benefit off my money? Hang on. Isn't this some kind of like a hairbrand racket? It's kind of like a cartel. Like you're asking me, hang on, so the mayor of Cape Town is expecting me to, if I give him my surplus, he sets the price of what he pays for my surplus. That's not a free market. That's some kind of like a captive game of like where there's like you're playing the game of Monopoly, but the banks always win, right?
Is that controlled by the city?
Yes. That's the system. What we've got is an emerging, because there's a trade-off between
the feed-in price, is that determined?
There's a feed-in price, there's a bulk sale price, the whole system, it operates on the assumption that there's a central grid. There's Eskom, they're the bulk supply of electricity. And then you have metros like Cape Town, essentially trying to wiggle out of Big Brother by sort of, it's kind of like creating a third-party tier, right? And I'm like the mouse and I'm looking at the big, large cat and going, but you still got your paw on my tail. You've trapped me. I mean, another metaphor, like I'm a hamster in a cage, right? I'm expected to just be a trapped market for your bulk sale program, where I'm now asked, I must invest. The city isn't coming along here with loans. So and saying, hang on, they're not putting PVs on my roof. right? They're expecting me to go to the bank, and I'm a service that loan from the bank in order to enjoy this opportunity.
Sure.
After I've spent 40k and now I'm getting, that's a Constantia solution. If you live in Constantia, the DA have your backs covered, right? And unfortunately, I'm not a DA, or I'm not a politician, I'm a realist. And for me as a realist, so let's keep it real. Let's keep it real, right?
But you're servicing your own, sorry.